Okay, I'm here. I'm sorry I'm late. I hate being late. Hi. Any problem? No, my problem was um I usually take a lot of naps. I think I run more frequently on naps than I do on actual one proper long run of sleep. I have no idea what Instagram influencers would say about me. They'd hate my ass. All those life coaches would hate my ass. Ew, how do I unpin this shit? Oh my god. And so I overslept my alarm. But then I was also no. Because I overslept my alarm, but then I was this stream has more prep than a typical wake up and just put on a game. Cuz there was some marshmallows I had to censor, not for like anything bad on the marshmallows part, but just to be careful. And then I was looking through some of my books and I was writing out some example sentences and pain in the ass. I was just being kind of like a pain in the ass, right? Hello. Yeah, life coaches are kind of suspicious. You should know, if I have tried to do a job, it is highly suspicious, and I was going to be a life coach, so honestly. And instead I'm a VTuber, so I'm still scamming people out of their money, but in a different way. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I always have to say I'm kidding because there's people out there who don't understand a joke, and I don't even mean it like they don't get my humor. I just mean like they honest to God do not know what a joke is, and especially with just how I've been told I have very deadpan delivery on things, so that's why I have to very obviously say when something is a joke. In any case, let me say hi. Hello, everyone. Hello, Godade. Hello, Pado. Hello, Tails, my head goblin. Hello, Persephone. Hello, Copplemoon. Hello, Top Hat Dino. Hello, David. Hello, Froggy. Hello, Griffin. Hello, Decknuts. Hello, Huon. Hello, Jason, my head goblin. Hello, Sandro. Hello, me talking. Adoboy, thank you so much for being scammed. Well, it's all about changing your mindset because you attract the energy that you put out into this world. So thank you so much for taking the first step and committing to a journey that's all about you. Because no amount of money can really match the growth you're going to get. Oh my god. Hello, Chillho. Hello, Doughboy. Hello, Meow Mix. Hello, Shrimp Paycheck. Hello, McFairy. Hello, Orion. Hello, Blooming Blossom. Sorry. Hello, let me see. Hello, David. Hello, Uncle Red. Okay. Hello, Nox. Hello. Okay, I got it. The way of speaking. That's exactly how it is. And you can get it too by joining my group mentorship program. We have weekly Zoom calls with me and a one-time one-on-one Zoom call with me to get you set up and really hone in on what your specific goals are. Am I fucking around? Do you guys see? I'm not fucking around with this. Oh man. I don't have the Ferraris in the bookshelves, but I have the very light and airy all-white studio space with the gold and black accents. So, I mean, come on. Hello, Yahoo. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Right. Let me get on to this. Top Hat Dino, thank you so much for joining the program. It's going to be $2,000 up front, or you can do a 12-month payment plan of $200 per month. And you get to meet a really amazing group of girls, and I'm going to have a new mentor every month to give you guys a call. Pain. Eternal suffering. God, no, with female life coaches, I sound like an incel. With life coaches that happen to be women, right? With life coaches that happen to be women. But yes, thank you, Top Hat Dino, so much for the super chat. Thank you, Doughboy, so much for the super chat. I have to properly say thank you, not like a stupid life coach. With life coaches for chicks, it has to be like a very effortless, fun lifestyle. It's like, because girls don't really care about cars in the same way that guys do, or at least girls who go to life coaches don't care about cars the same way that guys who go to life coaches do. Does that make sense? So I feel like a lot of guys go to life coaches to be, I don't know, like alpha business guys with like all these cars and bitches, and girls go so they can be, well, the type of girls I know and the type of clientele I know are just like, want to make money and be a girl boss. And it's like, you know, girl bosses don't need the fanciest cars. They just need one G-Wagon. I swear to God, that's like all I heard about it. I never knew what a G-Wagon was until I got into life coach bullshit. And then I went on Roblox and they have an R-Wagon. And honestly, I mean, come on, Roblox just does it better. Hello, Mermaid Melody. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Sorry, this is all so unrelated to my topic today at hand. Today, I want to talk about languages with you guys. As you can see, look, I put up a classroom. I put up fucking busted looking whiteboard. See, we're one of those low income schools, and it's like we can't afford a smart board, so we have to have like this busted looking whiteboard that I bought with my own money, as you know. Oh God. One of your neighbors has 3 G-Wagons. Well, it's 3 life coaches are your neighbors, obviously. 3 girl bosses. What is it? So I have a lot of marshmallows, and if we get, because really I have a collab at 1 p.m. PST. I double booked my ass today, and yesterday I went out for the first time in so long. And it was out not to run an errand. It was crazy. Have I seen I fucking hate Quantic Dream and David Cage. I don't even want to lay my eye on a single thing that musty, crusty, bald-ass man makes. This is not an insult towards bald people. I think bald people are way better than balding people. Hint to any balding people in chat. No, I have not seen it. I only heard that it was announced, and I'm like, they're still letting that bastard make games? Okay. Okay. Damn, they let the French get away with anything these days. I'm sorry. I know I probably have a French fan who's like, oh, mon dieu, Orla. How can you say that about the French? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a French fan who just unsubbed and went to go watch, I don't know, Callan or something. I'm kidding. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, hello, Yuku. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Anyways. Oh, God. I have a bunch of marshmallows, and I'm going to answer them. And I had to go on the... very, very strong assumption that people were asking serious questions and not trying to dick around, and they felt that my marshmallows were a safe space, so legally I cannot roast them. Legally, I cannot roast these people. Quite sad, right? I can't roast them. Wait. Okay, hold on. I have, where is it? My marshmallows? What is it? Hold on. Manual use hotkeys. Okay, here we go. And then, sorry, I wanted to set this all up, but also I just wanted my shit to be up so you guys weren't like, oh my God, Orlag, where are you? And it's like, fair enough. Okay. Ow, bow, 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 bow. Okay. And we're done. Okay, perfect. Does it work? Yes. Oh, I don't know why it's fucking doing like a little transition. Whatever. Okay, so here's the first marshmallow. Why can't we do Reddit posts? I don't want to go on Reddit. I barely want to go enough on... I don't even want to go there as is. I told people to submit marshmallows. Oh, you try to see each of our streams once a month. That's very sweet. Thank you, David. They are safe. I'm very... Hello, Pygmy. I'm very, very nice when I am trying to teach someone something. I promise. I promise I'm not going to make fun of any of you. I actually, because I hate when people feel scared, right? Of like asking a question, and I'm like, I'm doing a question stream, and then I'm just like, and I'm making fun of. I'm not, right? Anyways, hello Taco, welcome to the stream. How are you? Right. So, what is a language you've always wanted to learn, but it's been really difficult to start on? Oh, for me, it's not necessarily that it's been difficult to start, which is the crux of your question. Sorry to ignore that. Holy hell, did I have a rough time with Korean? Something about it. Never had as much difficulty with a language as I did with Korean. Maybe Mandarin will prove me wrong, but something about it. I didn't like most of the teaching materials that were really, really popular for everyone who does Korean's like, oh, just you talk to me in Korean. And then I did that shit and I'm like, I'm not learning anything, and these people just talk so damn much, and there's a very weird energy there. It's like they're hitting on each other. It's very weird, and I have to like sit through that. And it wasn't until I started going to a Korean language school and having like a tutor and using like this different set of textbooks that I actually started making progress. But I still just something about the vocabulary. Holy fuck. Never have I wanted kanji so bad in my entire life. I get that vocab. I'm like, oh my god, this shit all is just really similar. And I wouldn't say it has a very rich consonant inventory, because I'm sure, okay, Polish has a lot more consonants. But something about the Korean ones of like, it's like romanized really strangely. But I'll write it in Korean, and it's like it's an issue that's similar in I have a similar issue in Mandarin too, and it's something that a lot of native English speakers, even though it's not my native language, or people who English is perhaps one of their earlier languages, will have. Right, so oh Jesus Christ, why is this pen so huge? It's so juicy. Right, in Korean you have this. Please ignore my fucking shit handwriting. This. Jesus. It just said, I'm a thick pen today. Right. So here's the Korean. You would romanize that as like this. This. It's the same. Like in Chinese, they'll do like the BP, right? Or like the DT. Hi, Chaotic. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Hi, Sohan. Do you like my horrible writing? Right. It's just letters, right? It's just letters. And so here's something. If you are a native English speaker, you will say like ba, pa, pa. Some of them just double it up. It's not. It's not. It's all the like same one, what we would call P sound. It's the same like one P sound, but this one is aspirated, which means it comes with an extra puff of air, and this one is not. But because for native English speakers, if something starts with a P, T, K, C, H sound, I should probably write this nicer. I'm a fucking teacher and I write on the board dirty as shit. P, T, K, C, H. Right, so or something. There's other sounds that are not necessarily in English, but we do the same thing. If it's a P, T, K, C, H sound, and it's like the start of a word or the start of like a syllable, and there's nothing preceding it, and then there's a vowel. So like the word pat, like you'll hear, like we actually say like, it looks like I wrote fat, but I didn't. It's like an aspirated P, so it has a puff of air. This is important. It's like, it's in languages like Korean, Mandarin, Thai, Hindi. Like there's actually a difference. In English, while there is this different way of pronunciation, it's not used to distinguish words. Right? So like it doesn't matter if we say it like that. Right? But then if you go to learn another language that does distinguish these sounds, you're going to sound like you have an accent, which is coming up in another question I have. So I suppose I could hit two birds with one stone. So that was always the hardest for me. And then oh God, like I'll try this. This is, I can't. This is, pa, or this is like, I usually just put an extra bit of time here. And the issue is if you have a sound, like if I wanted to say this without the aspiration. So here's how like a normal English speaker, or not normal, typically in English would be pat. Oh, I wonder if it's hard to hear because I have stuff that my plosives don't sound like that for my mic. In any case, pat, like there should be like the puff of air, right? And I say pat. If I say pat, for a lot of people, it'll sound like I'm saying bat. For a lot of like native English speakers, it'll sound like bat. Because we're so unused to hearing an unaspirated consonant that instead we just hear it as it being voiced. Because we'll have the word bat. And which is really similar pronunciation. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. And I fucking hate learning Korean. And I fucking hate learning Mandarin pronunciation. And I sound like a joke. I sound like a clown. I sound like a clown. Ugh. But you have to figure out what's important for you. Or like you have to figure out what's important in the language to be understood or not. Right? So, like some people will go very, very hard, like hard on things to study. Ooh, I'll just hold off on this until I get to that question about accents. So I guess my answer to that question is I hate languages that make me have to distinguish between aspiration. I hate it. Hello, Gavin. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Being used to English really skews the learning curve for other languages. Oh yeah, I heard that, oh God, here's one thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll have this. Here's the word, right, dogs. Like, ruff, 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 dogs. The way you actually pronounce it is like, oh, I'm not putting these brackets in and my bitch ass is not doing IPA. The way you actually pronounce it is like dogs. Dogs. We don't say dogs. We don't say dogs. But in some languages, they don't do this thing. Whereas, oh, okay, so here if you look at the word cats, you say cats, you don't say cats. Oh shit, here's my thing hiding this. We say cats, we don't say cats. We don't say cats. I'll do this. This is really simple. Take some of your fingers, put your fingers on your throat or on your neck, right where the front of your throat is. And just make a sound like you're a snake. Make a and your throat, it should not be, well, your vocal cords do not vibrate, so you should not feel any vibration. Now change your s to a Z sound. S, you'll immediately feel a vibration, and that's because your vocal cords are vibrating. And that's typically what people mean when they say like voiced or voiceless sound. So an S is voiceless because it doesn't, like, right? It doesn't make your vocal cords vibrate. A Z is voiced. Hi, Rin. Welcome to the stream. Sorry if I miss out on saying hello to anyone. Now, if you look at the word, right. So this is voice, like voiceless. This is voiced. I'll just put an X and a check, right? So when we write out this, we'll use an S just because in English, when you make something a plural, you do S or ES. Rules to that. Sohan, thank you. 감사합니다. 감사해요. For the super chat. Thank you. Oh, I'm gonna go to 7-Eleven. Get me a 1+1 on the 7-Eleven cookies. Please tell me you get the 7-Eleven cookies. Oh, they're like, they're by the register. and it's like brownie inside, vanilla outside. Oh, I would buy them out. I would buy the whole thing. And my 7-Eleven lady was always so pissed at me. Yeah. They're so good. God, 7-Eleven fucks. Okay. Okay, so here, I'm going to I'm going to do it again. Put your fingers on your neck or your throat. Throat's on the inside, right? Your throat is on the inside and your neck is on the outside, right? So you put your fingers there, and now it makes like the T sound. But don't say a vowel. I don't want to hear you guys saying ta because vowels have voice. So you're gonna feel vibration. Just make a T sound. And now make a D sound. It's really hard to not make a after, but still. So T's not voiced, right? Neither is S. So like it's fine. We just say cats. We pronounce cats. Now, if you try to now put your fingers back on your neck. Make a K sound. You're not gonna feel any vibration. Like you're not. It's voiceless. And now make a g g g g g g g g. You're going to feel the vibration because G is voice. I'm bringing up a lot of these pairs because it's the same pronunciation. Well, it's like the same place and manner of it. The only difference is whether it's voiced. So then the issue is, we want to make language. Hi Taha, welcome to the stream. How are you? I know you gotta find a different, you guys gotta find different convenience stores or gas stations, I guess. We don't want to make speaking any harder than it has to be. Speaking is a pain in the ass. We have to do it a lot, and we have to do it to do very important things. So a lot of pronunciation is changed to make things easier. So we don't want to say dogs. I can't even say dogs because I'm so used to saying dogs. Because then we'll change the S into a Z sound so then they match up. 7-Eleven Korea doesn't have that cookie. It does because I got it when I was in Korea. And thank you so much for the super chat, Swan. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, dags. The reason why... Thank you so much for a super chat. The reason why English has a very strange... well, not very strange. It has such a wide gap between spelling and pronunciation is just due to the absolutely like sick nasty amount of loanwords we have. Mostly from like, because it's a Germanic language, which you would not believe because of the amount of times that like French and Latin got their grubby little hands on it. The biggest thing is that unlike many languages, English never got a spelling reform. A lot of languages have had spelling reforms or changes to their writing systems, things like that. What was it? I think Chinese was simplified in the 50s, which is pretty fucking recent, I think. The reason you cannot and there will not be a spelling reform for English is because now English is a global language and you cannot choose what is the correct English to base off of all your spelling off of. Like you can't say that, oh, we're going to do the whole spelling reform only for American English when even people in the United States don't all speak the same way. I mean, look at this. Hold on, I'm writing this down. Oops, sorry, that's the name Mary. There's people who pronounce these things the same, these things differently, caught and caught. There's people who pronounce Mary, Mary, Mary. Like all of them different, two of them the same, all different ones, right? So there's no real way, even within shit, even within a state you couldn't do that. Even within a single state or a certain province, or even within a certain city, you probably could not. And it's one of those issues where, oh god, well, that's just sociolinguistics, and I didn't get too far in that. Yes, even if you did a spelling reform, it wouldn't catch on, and at this point, it's just like, it's not going to happen. Water, pure water. I can have it anytime I like, day or night. I fucking love Limmy. He's so good. Yeah, right? So this is like, some of it's like easy peasy baby stuff, but I hope, well, I am assuming that a lot of people here have not learned of many of these things. So I'm being pretty shallow with a lot of this knowledge. But yeah, there's a big difference in some languages that are maybe only spoken in one country, and then they still have an academy that determines how the language should be. Looking at you, French and Spanish, my god. Doesn't Sweden still have an academy? But for Spanish judgments in Spain, I think they have one still. So for languages like that, the government can say all they like and change things all they like, and then people can just continue on and ignore it. Like, imagine if someone did they attempt to do an entire spelling reform for English. No one would listen. No one would listen. Who would listen? Right? Especially because, like I said, there's more non-native English speakers of English than native speakers. And like, no. Do you know who's going to be the biggest proponent to stopping that? Oh no, actually, do you know who would be the biggest people who would want that to happen? All those people who run the TOEFL, TOEIC, IELTS exams. They're like, ooh, take our new class and take the new tests on the new English spelling just so they can charge you up the butt for it. Even in New Mexico, there are different dialects from Spanish from northern and southern New Mexico. Ooh, very cool. I never knew that, David. Thank you for sharing. That's cool. Yeah, the colloquialisms and just the way people speak. It's just, I'll get to it. I gotta go to my next question. Okay. Do you enjoy learning the etymologies of words? If so, are there any that you find particularly interesting? My favorite is the word gun, which was derived from Domina Gunhilda, the name given to a particularly large ballista at Windsor Castle and later applied to firearms. I have no idea if this is true. I probably should have fact-checked this little man or woman who sent this in, or person. Hello, Alejandro. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Yeah, I hate standardized tests. I hate them. I think that they really prey upon people because a lot of jobs are like, you must have this test to get a job here, or schools are like, you must have this test to study here. And then those tests are extremely expensive, so it locks it to only people who can A, afford to even study the language at that level, B, afford to take the test, C, maybe even afford to travel to the only place in their city that offers that test. It's terrible. But hey, at least man, like the TOEFL is a bitch, but at least you take one test and you're like graded within there. It's not like with, I don't know, like Japanese, where they're like, you can try for one level and it's pass fail. I'm like, what? Can I just have one test and y'all put me in through there? Oh yeah, standardized testing sucks. I hate standardized testing, and I hate... Hello, Nillard. Welcome to the stream. How are you? It's definitely just a way to get money for people. Yes. Yes, and it's not even available for a long time. Like, it's so fucked up. TOEFL's only valid for 2 years. That's pain. That's not even how long it takes to, like, finish a degree, and most people I know, they just, they get their TOEFL for entering universities. It's just a mess. It's like, oh man, I hate that. I hate that. I am someone I had to take the GRE, which is for the United States. It's like a graduate, I think some places in Canada still use it too. It's like the graduate record examination for graduate schools. I think it cost me at the time $250 to take the exam. So it's like, oh, as if going to graduate school isn't already, well, financially difficult for people. like on top of many other things. Like, oh, here, you have to pay 250 for this just to see if you can even do well on it. TOEFL is like the test of English as a foreign language. It's just exam for adults, and you get a score, and then usually for university study they tell you like, oh, you have to have a minimum of this score to enter the main classes, or you get put into the English program and then you can enter main classes. Or some jobs want that too, but usually jobs end up wanting the TOEIC, which is like English conversation or something like that, where it's more popular in Japan. Goodness. English undergoes a major update every 2 years. English is changing constantly, I feel. I mean, especially with like how the internet is just zooming everything up. Oh, happy birthday, Alejandro. The internet zooms everything up, and then things just become a common way to say something. Like, saying not before sentences. I do that all the time, and so I've noticed some of you guys do it too, and I'm like, oh no, is this something horrible I've transmitted upon you? Or I'll just say like, not me falling in a hole, right? And like that's a new thing. What does it mean? I don't know. Yeah, nar. That's not even how Australians really talk, but we're like, nar. Not Orla changing the English language, yeah. And do you have to say it like very specifically, like not like you have to say it with that specific cadence as well. Yeah, not me being influenced by VTubers. Right? I'm so sorry, I didn't finish reading this. Another is how English and Persian both have the word bad with the same meaning, and yet they're unrelated words. See, this is the one that I wanted to... I'm so sorry, I did not look this up beforehand. No, there's the power of the internet. I can... Let me look this up really quick. Oh, goodness gracious. No, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Oh, I couldn't find it, but it's not really to that. But there was so very frequently when there are languages that are not documented or underdocumented, so it means like we don't have a lot of information on them, like, or any at all, linguists will go to the communities and attempt to do something like get a dictionary or a grammar down, get recordings down, and all of that, which is really important. And language preservation is really important, my lord. You just have to be very careful because typically you're working with populations that are mistreated a lot. In any case, I'm not forgetting to fact check the malice before stream. No, I didn't look at this one. But in any case, so there was this group of linguists that had gone to this community, and they were, they would typically ask them like, oh, like, what is your word for this? And they would be, I think they had a couple people in there who were bilingual, right? It was just simply a matter of they didn't have much down about the language, not that there weren't speakers of it, right? And they get to like a dog, right? And then someone said, so they're like, oh, like, what is, like, your, like, what do you call like this? Like, what is your word for this? And they said, oh, dog. And they're like, no, not like the English word, but like, what is the word in your language? And they're like, dog. And they were like, did they maybe just hear from someone else? And they're like messing with me, but no, just this language, it's completely unrelated, just also happened to have the same word for dog with the same pronunciation for it. Not even like how some language they'll have things that are maybe similar but a different pronunciation. No, it's just straight up dog. Dog for both, which is cute. Obsessed. I had a professor tell me that, and the fact that I can't find it upon Googling scares me. So if that's a lie and she hoodwinked me, you didn't hear that from me. You heard that from her. How do you maintain motivation to keep learning a little every day? Oh, it's not motivation, it's discipline. I think this is with anything. Because motivation will just walk out the door one day. It's just going to leave, and it won't tell you it left, and maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. But discipline is always going to be there, I feel, or you have to force it to be there, right? So that's it. I would say very often I'm not even motivated to study the things that I do, to say the things that I study or do the things that I do. I've just created a habit for myself, or I just know, oh, if I stop this now, future me is going to be so pissed off at me. And I don't want to be like, oh, that bitch passed me. It's that. So it's like, it's not about motivation, because motivation will come and go, but discipline is always will keep you there. But you have to be a disciplined person. But like, honestly, like, this is specific to learning languages. Learning languages is a lifelong endeavor. It's not as though I'm going to study this for 5 years and now I know everything. Hi, Jung. I didn't really talk about it much. I just kind of brought it up a little bit when I was talking about pronunciation and like spelling reforms. You wish past you, is that considerate? Shh. Yes, it's... What is it? Yeah, so learning languages is lifelong. Warg, thank you so much for looking that up. But also, now I didn't look up your... I'm going to trust Warg, so... It looks like your professor was talking about the... Mbabaram language, according to Wiktionary. We're going to pray that whoever edited the Wiktionary what, you look at the Wiktionary entry and it's just my professor. She is out here creating her own truth. She's out here creating her own truth. She's like, who's gonna fact check this? Who? Me, bitch. Yes, but in any case, learning languages is a lifelong endeavor. You're not gonna be motivated your whole life. There's are you kidding me? Some of you are barely motivated to get out of bed every day. Me included. Like, hello, you're going to be also motivated to sit down and grind grammar or like read through a book that you're struggling through. There's people in here failing like 3 classes. You're telling me that at age like 48, they're also going to be willing to kind of like sit through a TV show that they don't understand every single thing of it, right? Like, come on. Like, right? So like motivation will come and go. And that's why you can't rely on it solely for something that's like lifelong, like language study. Griffin, you got to get a little serotonin. You got to go meet Ms. Sarah. Yeah, but if you don't, yeah. Declan says, I sure stopped studying French the second I don't have to anymore. Oh yeah, there's some languages where I was like, oh, I'm not living there anymore. Fuck this. Oh my god. Yeah, there's definitely, and of course at that point throw it away. If you don't need something, just get rid of it. Oh. Meow Mix, is that like soap opera? Because I know like a telenovela is like a soap opera for Spanish ones, right? But I've always heard that the Turkish ones are the best. Like, every bad bitch I know watches Turkish dramas. You ditched learning your national and ethnic languages the moment you could. Oh. Do you not live there anymore, Pygmy? As a Canadian, you give no shits about French until you discovered the internet. What about the internet makes you want to learn French? You want to be a bad bitch, so you want to watch Turkish dramas. Right. So then my answer to this person is, oh, but to actually maintain motivation, mix up how you're learning a language, include fun stuff every once in a while. remember originally what made you want to study it, because some of you bitches are like knee deep in flashcards and think, yeah, I'm like a really cool language learner, and it's like, if you interacted with the language in any kind of meaningful way at all. In any case, next question, how much stock do you put into pen and paper practice? Hi Ceann, welcome to the stream. We're not too late into it, because I was late too, so it's fine. Hello, welcome to the stream, how are you? I have not, Jung. I've not heard of that. That's what Meow Mix brought up earlier. You guys are scaring me. Oh, Turkish dramas are so popular, even like years ago. I would remember, it was like 20 years ago, and they were popping. How much stock do you put into pen and paper practice? Is it worth trying to memorize stroke order in kanji? Yes, because I think anyone who cries about memorizing stroke order is a little bitch. Or if you have a learning disability, fine. But everyone else is a little bitch. Like, peace and love, but if over 1 billion people in this world can learn how to memorize, like how to write a little character, I'm pretty sure you can. Steven, Kyle, Amanda, not the one from Saw, Kevin, and then, but the thing is, you're not memorizing the stroke order of each individual kanji like it's a puzzle piece. Yeah, it's like, kanji's not this, it ain't that big of a deal, like, truthfully. Oh, let me erase all this. People are just, I don't know, okay, so with pen and paper practice, I personally am just someone who, if I write something down physically, I remember it better. That's just me. And that could be about anything. It's why I keep a physical planner instead of a digital one, but a lot of people keep like digital planners or calendars. I have to keep a physical one. That's just on me. That's just like a personal thing. So I do sit down and I have a little whiteboard. So it's not pen and paper, right? And I'll write down, and like I'll keep constantly writing down like different characters, or I'll write sentences to myself. I'll make up my own little dialogue and write it out, or I'll do like a journal. No, I'm going to tell you English stroke order when your Japanese teacher asks you why your Japanese handwriting is so much better than English. Oh god. Yeah, because English has it too. Or I guess Latin letters have it too, like you don't go up. Like you don't go up, down, right, left. My teeth still came out great because I'm just a baddie. But you're not memorizing, like, oh god, I want to show this without putting a thing down. It's like if I have like the word kami for paper, like if you see this character, ignore my writing. Actually perceive my writing. I think my writing is fine. If you see this character, you're not out here like, oh my god, I don't know how to write it. Do I do this, this, like, right? Like if you start trying to figure it out without learning, like it's just way harder to remember that shit. But if I see something and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the radical for thread, this is the one I just remember is the one for like shi or uji, then I remember I just like shove those two together, and I know how to write these two separate, so I know how to write them together. Like you could, I don't know, once you learn how to write the different radicals, you could throw a kanji at anyone and they could generally write it properly. And then same with if you're using like a character recognition one and you have to write the character in. Typically, if you don't do the stroke order correctly, Google throws a little bitch fit. Google will eventually get it, but it throws a little fit. Have I tried Keigo? Yes. Keigo's not actually that bad. Oh, a radical. I'm so sorry. I'll tell you about that in a bit, Froggy. I think like Keigo, Kenjogo, Teinego, all that stuff, it's like the honorific language. In any language, like they have it in Korean and stuff too, and like Slavic languages, like not to the same degree, but they have it. I don't think it's that bad in terms of remembering like these vocabulary or how to conjugate this thing. I think the worst part is when you're talking to different people. My issue is always, oh, if I'm talking to one person about like another person, or maybe that person's opinion of another person, that's when I get messed up of, oh, who do I use honorific language for, to what degree, and then I'm still speaking impolitely because I'm just speaking with, or I'm still speaking like lowly, like I'm like with my friends. Yes, it's like here's radical. Me on my little skateboard. This is a radical, so like you have to study like ollies, kickflips, like before you can even do Japanese. Hi Megadan, hi Frog, welcome to the stream, how are you? 2 frogs in a chat, you have to fight. I just like dig a hole and I toss 2 frogs in there and I'm like, fight, fight, fight. No. This talk reminds me of Dogen's new kanji video and he can't stop giggling. I've never seen it. I'm so sorry. Is it good? I know that guy is bussin' on Reddit, but I hate Redditors, so I don't trust anything they say. Radicals are like what characters are made up of. So like here, like this one, it can be a character in and of itself, like she, like ito means like thread. But it can also be used in other characters too. Here's take, which is bamboo. And then you'll see it in something in like other kanji, like up here. This is like take kanmuri, so it's like bamboo crown. So it's like up here, up top. And obviously the shape has changed a little bit, but because like you know how to write the original one, you know how to write the radical. And then when I see a character, I'm like, oh, that's just like this radical, and I know how to write that. And then this little spring always has this shape. Always got this, right? Yeah. Dance battle. Oh yeah, they before you can even sign up to take an exam, they just sit you down with like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And then you just have to like just get the highest score. Whoever gets the highest score, the top 5 people actually pass the exam. Everyone else can go to hell. Right? More like when you learn how to ride a bike the right way. There's a see, Uncle Red, you just screwed me up there because I don't know how to ride a bike. That's why I have my horse to take me everywhere. Yeah, I became a horse girl out of necessity. God, but yes, so how much stock do I put into pen and paper practice? That's a personal thing. I still think getting muscle memory is good for writing things, but as far as it actually having to be physical pen and paper, I think not necessarily. Is it worth trying to memorize stroke order in kanji? Yes, if you don't, you're a little bitch. I'm so sorry. Unless you have a learning disability, then, you know, you got that going on for you. And you're not memorizing the order in the ones, it's not like you're having to memorize 2,000 stroke orders very specifically for like the 2,000 like kanji that you like basically need, right? Like you're memorizing the stroke orders for different radicals that make up the kanji. And frankly, there's not that many radicals, right? Tony Hawk is observing the test, but you don't recognize him. He's the proctor. You just somehow, despite the proctor being like a white guy who vaguely looks like Tony Hawk, you're still like, nah, there's no way. Do you feel the structure and writing system of a language strongly influences the culture of its speakers, or is it the other way around, or is it a feedback loop? Well, how do I feel about this? I feel like so oh man. I feel as though okay, I'm trying not to see, there's some shit that I would like to say that's just personal anecdotes of me being a rude person, but I can't do that, right? I have to be nice, right? I have to be nice. You look at his name tag and say out loud, Tony Hawk, like the skater. He looks at you and says, I guess so. He just says, "Oh, hi, so this." You look at your exam and never realize, no. I think. Okay, so what I've been told from my one friend, she is a Japanese woman who's been married to an American man. Yes, he cheated on her. Yes, he's white. What else fucking shocks you in this world anymore? Yes, he was her teacher. Right? Anyways. That is just completely unrelated tea. But I hate his ass. Anyways, I can't believe it. She literally left her country to live with him and he cheated on... I hate him. Anyways. She has said that she likes speaking in English more because she feels as though she can speak more directly. I think that's not necessarily like a language thing, but a culture thing, because it's the stereotypes, but never have, because they were the one relationship where I was like, you know what? They actually made it work. And then I found out through she was like 21 at the time, barely, and he was in his 40s. My 20-something-year-old friend at the time, she was like, is he really married? Because he's sending me some stuff. And I was like, excuse me? Yeah. Anyways, what I want to say. Because there's not something that you can't express in okay. There's many things that maybe do not have a one-to-one translation, but it's not as though I am somehow limited in English to be unable to show proper respect to people because I do not have an honorific conjugation to my verb, right? It does not mean that I'm incapable of respect. And just because there is no, there's these different levels of honorific ways to speak in Korean doesn't mean that those bitches like don't get nasty. Like, it doesn't mean that they're all like, super nice in the way that they talk and think, like, right? Like, they will come for your throat. Right? That's what translating Spanish is, a mental gymnastic. Yes, if you try to translate things, it can be really hard because some things don't translate one-to-one, but it's not that you can't express something. And so there's a dangerous thought pattern that went with this, whereas a lot of people would say, oh, this language doesn't have this. That means that the people are less developed mentally. So it was I don't know how many years ago it was. I mean, it's still fairly prevalent. People will think that, oh, this language doesn't have as much vocabulary for this thing. That must mean that they're not as intelligent, or they can't see things the same we see. And that is a very, like, dangerous path to go down. So it's like every language can say what it wants to say perfectly clearly. Like, there's, like, people know what people are talking about. Yes, people, oh my god, yeah, people would say that. There's some languages, so there's this, like, there's actually a very specific way that language will start separating color. So it's like languages will sometimes only just have two words for colors, whether it's like light or dark color. Then it's usually like light, dark, like a red, and then I think the distinction between blue and green is one of the later color names, which is why in a lot of Japanese media, they'll say like green or blue for something that we would describe as one or the other, but it's just because distinguishing between those colors in terms of like having a separate word for it is kind of like later on. And so then people would use that argument like, these people can't even tell a difference between this color, they're not intelligent. And it's like, no, because when they did tests of telling if these people could distinguish all of these colors among a group, everyone did exactly the same. Like, everyone did it completely fine despite them not having a word for that color in that language, right? It was just another way that people, and it's like a lot of the languages that do not distinguish colors in that way, the speakers are non-white, so it went really racial really fast for people. So that's like the big issue with it. So that's why, what is it? Oh, but this person said, influences the culture of its speakers. I haven't given too much thought about that. Or at least I haven't given too much thought about it that I would feel comfortable saying it as like a streamer in like a position of semi-influence, right? I wouldn't say I'm an influencer, but I would say that if I say something, it's kind of putting a stamp of approval on it typically. So I'm like, I don't want to say it. I think it could. Frankly, most of my research has been on pragmatics and phonetics and phonology. I'm so sorry. Peace and love to, peace and love to sociolinguists out there. Baja Blast blue or green argument. Isn't it like, it's green, right? You took an anthropology class about language. It was amazing. Ooh, I'm glad you liked it, David. What was one of your favorite things you learned? Yeah. I can't believe they couldn't distinguish between chartreuse and lime. Oh god. Yeah, you guys, you want to figure out the color of something? Take it to Pinterest mom. Oh, she's gonna have 50 whole boards dedicated to weddings themed around that one color. Language can shape how one thinks. No. Hi, Raspberry. Welcome to the stream. How are you? That's what I was mentioning earlier. Oh god, who's that asshole that put it through? I hate his ass. He's the one who did that study that it was poorly done, and people still think that language changes how you think, and it's been disproven. And he's such a, I hate that cocksucker. That's like the worst thing. It's like that asshole who put out that, study about a certain health thing, and now everyone believes it, even though he had his doctor's license taken away, which is for a lot of assholes, right? It's like, oh, I hate people like that. No, it's not. The reason you don't want to even, it's barely accepted even if in its lightest form, and it's because very often it was used for things like I said earlier, I was like, these people don't have a word for this, so they're not as educated. They can't even think about technology like we can. It's like, they're fucking fine. You show them a computer, they're not gonna like lose their minds. Like, they can talk about it. Like, there's some languages where they don't necessarily have specific numbers for a great many things. They just will stop after a certain amount, right? So I think it's like they'll have maybe have specific words for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then anything after that they just use like many, right? But it doesn't mean that the people are so stupid that they can't count to 5, right? If you use the argument that language has a very strong influence on things like that, like, you make a lot of incorrect assumptions about people. Right. Savior of War. Fuck those out. Fuck that guy. Yes. Thank you, Koppelmoon. Thank you. Fuck him. Yeah. Right. So that's like a difficult thing. So you have to be careful. Right. The use of a dead spoken language like Latin. Teach a class in it. Oh, I wish I had taken ancient Greek. I really wanted to take it. It seemed really fun. Or same with Latin. Like, it just kind of seems like a fun language to learn because all the texts that you use are just kind of hardcore. And I feel like Romans were funny. They're just so random, taking over an entire continent. No, I just feel like they're funny. Do you have any content creators that you recommend that are in linguistics? Only one that comes to mind for me is Tom Scott. Most of my content creators that I like are like on Instagram, and they're like language learners, so I don't know if it falls to the same thing. And then unfortunately, a lot of them like are my friends, and I would not want to end up self-doxing. I know NPR had a podcast, The World in Words, World of Words, something like that. And I quite liked it. I think that it's been shut down for maybe a couple years at this point, but I liked it. It had two hosts and they would have a different kind of language related thing every time. They talked about the Numa Numa song for one of them. But so that was like the topic of it, but then they ended up going to the fact that like, oh, it's like the band is from like Moldova, and what is the language situation in Moldova, and they had people from Moldova coming in talking to them about it and like a bit of the history and stuff about it too. So that was fun, right? I liked it. That'd be my only recommendation that I could say that wouldn't end up being like a friend of mine. Ozone slaps. I think that was my Spotify 2017 top 2 songs. How many different language learning systems have you tried? What worked best for you? Oh my god. I think that Pimsleur is the best language learning system if you want to role play being a 40-year-old businessman trying to hit up a local woman at the hotel bar. If you want to know how to make someone feel really uncomfortable, just kind of use Pimsleur. God. I hate that. And it's like, if you want to pay $600 to make someone creeped out, get Pimsleur. Yeah, it's just it is always the most, hello, I am a businessman. Hello, I'm traveling. I'm like, I don't know. Right. I think this is difficult to say because languages are very different. So in terms of like actual programs, right, I don't think there's like a one size fits all. The issue with some of those things like Duolingo is that they try to put the same approach to languages that are all very different to varying degrees of success. I'm just using Duolingo as an example because everybody knows Duolingo, right? Pimsleur is an audio-based language learning program. It used to be on tapes, then it was on CDs, and I can get it at your library. And it was just about, oh, here's this, repeat this, this is what it means to make a sentence, to like speak in this language. What is it? What worked best for me? I work best, honestly, I'm one of those bitches that does great in class settings. I'm so sorry you hate to see it. I thrive in traditional education settings. I'm just kidding. Yes, hello, Barthas. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Right, but what I would recommend is, okay, what works best for I think what works best for everything is to have, oh, here's actually what my number one thing is. I go on italki and I throw down money for a one-on-one like tutor, teacher, right, person to talk to, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, use this to get free language exchange partners. No, because my time is very valuable to me, and after over a decade of language learning, I could say I had one good exchange partner. I could say I had one good one. Otherwise, it always ends up fizzling out because, frankly, the most you have in common is that I want to learn your language. I want to learn your language too. And then even if you end up finding someone that maybe you have things in common with, it can end up sometimes being very lopsided of, oh, only one person speaking theirs, only one person speaking theirs, or like neither of you end up speaking as much as you would like. No, my time is valuable to me. Time is money, so I pay for a one-on-one tutor who I can make as many stupid mistakes in front of her as I would like, and it doesn't matter to me. I can get a tutor that's specifically from the area that I'm planning on like living in, so that I can, or traveling to, so then I can speak slightly more like locally. That's why I have some of that's why it's like I have an accent on some words in Japanese, just because my tutor was from Gifu. So then it's like I say some words like she does, not on purpose, just because we just got along really well. But yes, yeah, it's good to help people out if you know it. Oh, but yes, I would say to honestly almost stay away from ones, or don't blindly trust ones that cover every single language, right? So it's like I said, like I really liked using the Asimil series for Spanish. I would not use that for Gifu is in the Gifu is in like the center of Japan. It's to the right of Mie. Yes. And yes, and you can work one-on-one and you don't have to share your time with other people. Sometimes it's nice. I took a Korean language class. I went to a Korean language school and it was really nice. I liked the people in there. But again, it depends on if the people in there and you are on similar levels and you guys are all hard working together, because if you take a class and half the people don't give a shit and will not even care to answer questions, it's like, cool, love this dead weight taking up my time. Right. I would say I've tried a shit ton on the ones that worked best for me. If I was, I guess I could say individually per language. I have to leave soon because I have to go prep for my collab. Oh man, I don't want them to get my ass. I should probably be wrapping up soon anyways. Have you seen that guy on YouTube that walks around Chinatown surprising people with his perfect Mandarin? Have you ever surprised someone with the language you know? I don't like people who do that because I feel like it's usually just some YouTuber who really wants attention. Of course, all YouTubers really want attention, but especially these ones, I'm like, man, I hate that shit. It's like, I'm just trying to shop. Leave me alone. But have I ever surprised someone with the language I know? Perhaps the one time I helped someone out at the store with my native language, because my native language is not very widely spoken. So she was really thankful that I could help her out with that. I think it's more, oh no, yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think that's it. Have you ever looked at how communities around certain games or apps can develop their own micro-dialects? I have not looked at it. Do you mean as in how some people have like their own like ways of speaking or vocabulary that they use, like how people will speak maybe like in like an esports like round or something like that, or an esports game, how they'll speak to like their teammates or different things like that? I suppose it'd be kind of similar to the way people in sports speak. You do that accidentally, but it's because you look white. Oh yeah, if you're the foreigner speaking it, or they think you're a foreigner speaking it. I have not looked into it. When I think of how people speak in games, I honestly just think of Xbox lobbies. Man, fuck your mom. That's all I think of. I'm so sorry. Fighting Ink me have their own little clicks. Yeah, I think people have their own ways of speaking, but yeah, it has its own like vocabulary, anything like that. Like contractions of things. Like if you say like go mid, people in MOBA games understand that, but I don't really know what that means, right? Halo lobbies. Why did that to my mom? Man, fuck your mom. Yeah, whatever the hell Nillard just said, that's even real. But see, I would believe it. But I think it's very similar to like sports, right? If I was in a locker room for a sports game, first off, phew, just kidding. I wouldn't understand half the shit they were saying, right? Okay, here's this one. Sorry if it's too political, but with the progression of some terms like, and they use terms to describe certain race. They were not like offensive. I just wanted to not have it on my screen, right? Or to describe people with disabilities, right? Is it inevitable that any new politically correct term will eventually be judged as insensitive to and be replaced by the next generation? Right. I'm going to be right. I'm going to stick to it strictly on I guess as languagey as I could be. Right. So this person didn't say anything offensive. I just wanted to censor it just in case, right? I think that a problem in history, and especially with some of the older terms this person used, is that these words were frequently given to that group, So it was not as though this group said, hey, this is how we are, you know, different from you in whatever way it happens to be, and this is what we would like to be called, or this is what we are called. Instead, it was very simply from whatever group had power that said, oh, we're going to call you this. And it's like, we don't fucking want to be called that. Right? Doesn't that make sense? It's like, so of course, as time has gone on and people have either started to slightly get more power back to them, or at least people in positions of power have started realizing, oh yeah, we cannot treat people like shit. How would you like to be called? Then we are changing the ways that we speak about them. And for some of these examples of language that this person said in this Marshmallow, they mentioned some different terms for things. And it's like, well, the reason sometimes people will say black or people of color, or they'll say BIPOC, which is Black and Indigenous People of Color, is simply because a lot of these things end up going to politics and laws. And when you're dealing with legal systems or bureaucracy, you need to have very specific language. Otherwise, things can be unclear. So if there is a law written that applies to XYZ, and the person who wrote it was not being specific in their language, it can end up being over-applied to people who it should not apply to, or they thought that this includes this group of people, but it did not, then a certain group of people may not be protected under the law, right? Or especially things like medical systems or insurance companies, or, you know, like you get into a car accident and you have to call the police or the insurance company, and you guys, I know you guys are there recounting it as like slowly and carefully as you can, because you know if you fuck it up, your insurance company is going to say, actually, we don't cover that. Because it's a very specific way that you said it means that, oh, they don't have to cover it because of that, right? I hope that makes sense. So it's, people are changing things to be more specific or wider, because in that way, then you can more accurately discuss certain issues, certain cultures, certain people, and also make sure that they're properly represented and protected within like certain laws, right? Oh, thank you. I would hope I'm good. Also, it's the historical thing of listen to the people who are part of that group telling you what they would like to be called versus you just picking out what you would want to call them, right? It's just like that. Yes, so I hope it does not go into like a bad political place. I try to stay as obviously neutral as possible. Thank you. So I hope that also answers a question for you, any of you guys. And also, like, you can just ask people. Like, just ask people. Like, right. I fall under some categories that if somebody was to ask me, what should I call you, I would feel zero offense, as long as it was them being like a genuine person. And you can usually tell when someone's being an asshole and someone's being genuine. So like, feel free to ask. But also like the burden of fully understanding stuff is not always on the person to explain it to you. But like, you can just ask, what would you like to be called? Right? It's not a big deal. Okay. How would you rate this technique? Grinding a 6,000, I'm gonna leave right after this question. Grinding a 6,000 kanji deck in Anki. So, Anki is a language learning program for flashcards to completion before doing any grammar study as a way to learn enough Japanese to read spicy VNs. You want to read? Just look at the pictures. The fuck? This guy buys Playboy magazines for the plot. Like, just look at the pictures. The fuck? What is she gonna say? Oh, kimochi! That's all they fucking say. Are you serious? Like, right? Like, are you serious? Anyways, here, how do I'm going to hopefully explain this to you. Where's my mouse cursor? Can I write on this? Oh, here, perfect. Okay. Oh, cool. It chose a font that has no Japanese text. That's cool. I fucking hate this shit. No! Okay. Okay, I'm going to write this out for you, Mr. Spicy VN Man. Mr. Spicy VN Man. Hello, Era, welcome to the stream. How are you? Hello, Piera, welcome to the stream. How are you? Right. Fucking hell, I hate writing like this. I got me, oh. Right, okay. Here you go, Mr. Porn Man. So, in your visual novel, Becky has been sold off to a slave trade. And the plot is you are the main character, and then when the bad guy is interrogating Becky, she says, for how did she get here? Like he tells her this, and you with your kanji study, you know that this means letter, and this is the kanji for right. What does this mean though? Letter right. I wrote a letter, he wrote a letter, she wrote a letter, they wrote a letter, my mom wrote a letter, my dog wrote a letter, right, and then, okay, and then here we go. Okay, so right, so, and even if, let's say we keep the kanji the same, and then we have this, and then when we want to say, aite, ageta. Whoops, wrong. Or we want to say, aite. Whoops, sorry. I hate how this like tracks my writing, which, very sorry for that. Aite morata. Right, so we have, oh my gosh, there's all these different grammar endings, and how do I know what it is? It's, well, the first one is, he wrote a letter for me, well, if we're just assuming it based on the story I said, he wrote a letter for me. I wrote a letter for him. I had him write a letter for me. I got him to write me a letter. Like, right, it's, and you still have the same kanji, but you don't know all these, like, different things just because all you studied first was kanji. And do you know what? It's not even like you're saying, I'm studying vocabulary, because not all vocabulary is kanji. Like, it's just not. Like, what's kasari? Like, it's just not. Like, there's just so much, like, things that are not kanji, right? Hi, John. Thank you for coming in and wishing us staying happy and healthy. All right. And then the thing is, instead of doing things where they have any form of context, you are like ripping them out of any kind of context. And you're just doing like, oh, here's just plain vocab. Learn them at the same time, and then you can use, oh, and then, oh yeah, this is a kanji deck, not even a vocabulary deck. That's even worse. That's even fucking worse. Then you're just learning that, oh, I'm so sorry. Then you just mean that this means hand. Hand, this means paper, this means write. I hand wrote a paper. Like, maybe I held this paper in my hand and then I wrote with it. Like, it's just, huh? It's like studying words, or sometimes parts of words, like prefixes, suffixes, words. It's just do them all together, and then with the vocabulary you learn, write sentences. Write a diary entry. Write a fake conversation. I barely know any Mandarin, and every time I finish a lesson, after like I rewrite and like redo all my stuff, I just make my own fake conversations up. I make things up. I'm like, okay, well, this person would say hello, and then I'm imagining that this person would like spill their drink on them, and they would say sorry. I just make up a story so I can somehow use like the little tiny like stuff that I learn, right? I think that mindsets like this are a very easy way to put off any actual usage of the language and you're just doing flashcards and thinking, okay, I'm making progress, I'm doing great. And I mean, you're doing something, but are you really using the language in any kind of meaningful way? Right? Like, are you using it in the way that you would even like to use it? You're just going to get burnt out. And if you don't get burnt out, I don't know. This is just to me, when I see this, I'm like, what Redditor sent this in? Because this is all I see on Reddit. People who get so stuck on their little flashcards and don't actually end up doing anything. Hi, Karma. Welcome to the stream. I'm about to close up because even though I only got to half of my marshmallows, I have to go prep for my collab. Let me check actually really quickly. I don't want to end. Well, frankly, it's my fault for being 10 minutes late. Oh, thank you, Nox. And I'm sorry if I... Oh, shit. Ah! Wait, what? Wait, what? Okay. I have to go. Okay, sorry, I was just looking at our group chat. I have to go. Ah! I will do a regular just chatting and answer other things. I'm so sorry. If I didn't have a collab, I'd still go. But wait. Okay, the collab is important. It's going to be me and Callan and Moriko and Nina on... I'm not leaving yet, you assholes! It's going to be on Callan's Twitch channel. So make sure you guys go... Will I do a part 2? Probably. Yes, I will. Go watch it on Callan's Twitch channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're playing Mario Party Superstars. I'm not very good at Mario Party. We'll see. She's gone. I'm not gone. I'm here. You guys are just like, it's almost like she's still alive. Like, ah! Yes. What time was the collab? 1 p.m. PST. So in like half an hour. I think, right? Hold on. Yes. No. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Current time PST. Wait. It's currently 11:34 a.m. in the Kingdom of Tsunderia. What does that mean for me? Wait. Oh, cool. I still have another hour with you guys. Roughly, right? Okay, cool. Callan's schedule was wrong because she didn't change the 6. It was supposed to be 3 p.m. CST. Okay, cool. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my classroom. Sorry. Ow. Okay. Bonus class. Right. Okay, perfect. I can answer this a bit more thoroughly. So, okay. Yeah, she made a reply. Atsu, hello. Hello. Today's Friday. I'm back. Okay. How would I rate this technique? So, I don't want to drag this person because, frankly, they're asking a very honest question that many people have asked before. Hello, Karma. This time I'm not ending it. Haha. And a lot of people have studied like this, I'm sure. I think that you would absolutely lose all desire, motivation, even your discipline would be wasted on simply doing like vocabulary flashcards for like 6,000 of them before you even learn how to introduce yourself or say like the verb to be. I think it's a waste of your time. Doing both at the same time would not really like add up more time. Like, frankly, you don't even need to do that many. Like, if it's just 6,000 kanji, you don't need that many. Like, just, frankly, like, you don't. Like, you're fine. Bootleg, every line was translated down to exactly 3 words, no matter what. Oh my. What bootleg? What was the bootleg? What was the bootleg movie? Yes, hello everyone. No, I have to say hello to everyone again. Yes, I think that you would have far more of a good time doing it at the same time than just doing it one by one. Those are my thoughts, my feelings, opinions. And not even for the sake of that, like, somehow this is like educationally worse for you, but just in the sense of, as a language learner, you would burn the fuck out. And if you didn't, you would have spent so much time on something that in the end you couldn't use. Goodness gracious. Okay, next one. What's the best conversation you overheard when people didn't know you could understand their language? It was a Korean horror movie. I've never seen it. No, oh my god, there's something I really want to tell you guys that's really funny. My friend and I, we were trying to think of gay movie parody names. But I can't share them because so many of them would be offensive, but it was so funny. I almost crashed the car driving it. I almost crashed my Mustang, my horse. It was horrible. So instead I will tell you the best conversation that my, so it was, right, this is not my story, because typically, I don't know, people don't really say things around me. I think maybe, even when I'm visiting foreign countries and I hear what they say about me, it's usually just stuff like, oh, she's so tall, or like, oh, there's a foreigner. I've never had much said to me. Moriko! Oh my gosh. Guys, say hello, Moriko. Not me talking like a fucking baby. Guys, say hello. Oh my, I thought I banned you. I'm so sorry. Guys, say hi, Moriko. She's bad at video games. We're playing Mario Party together with Callan and Nina. Girl, I got the time wrong by almost an hour and I was about to end my stream like, they're gonna be so mad I'm late to prepping for the collab. My dumbass. Yes, guys, say hello, hello. She's, I think, pretty much exclusively on Twitch. Yes, the squeak. She plays a lot of really cool games. She's very cool. She also has, if you guys watch VTubers solely for aesthetic, she's also got like a goth girl aesthetic. So if all you guys care about is cute girl in corner is the color I like, she's great. I mean, she's a great streamer other than that, has great taste, and like she's funny. But I mean, if that's all you care about, she's right up your alley if you like me too. Orla towers over everyone. Yes, because I always end up learning languages in countries where everyone is very tiny. One of these days I'm going to learn Swedish and be like the shortest bitch in the club. And my voice changed. God, it's like okay, okay, I'm going to say it's like this, but it's not like this. It's like when a chihuahua sees their owner like pulling up in the driveway. I'm like, I'm excited, right? It's like me. I would never say I'm a chihuahua or that Moriko is my owner. No, but it's just, hi, I'm excited. I get excited. Cute girl in corner is the color I like. That's what I feel like some people are. That's exactly how I feel some people are when they watch streamers. My god. Or at least especially VTubers. I'm like, damn, you guys really are kids. Are you sure like the government allows you to have full control over your own money to donate to us? Like, do you have the capabilities for— I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be dragging viewers. Hi guys, welcome. I promise I'm not typically this horrible. Chihuahua size of big dog. Oh, I love those Irish wolfhounds. They're so huge. They're so, like, when you see them, they like stand up and their like shoulders are like, or like their arms are like practically taller than their owners. It's insane. I'm the tall shopper from the Japanese meme. I don't know what that is, but I have seen that Vietnamese video. What is that? It's a Vietnamese music video of, what was it? Grocery store love affair or something like that. My friend showed me that. That one was great. I loved it. Right, but let me get really quickly to the best conversation. So a girl I knew at the time, I would say friend, but we were not friends in retrospect. We were not friends. She's Romanian. And so her mother had her when she was quite young. So she and her like mother are of a similar age, and then her mother had her brother when she was quite old. So my friend is maybe like 16 years older than her baby brother. So she was with him at the store one time. They were just like together, right? And he was like barely able to walk. She was just holding his hand, and they were at the store together. And oh, hello, Kruka. Welcome to the stream. How are you? They were at the store together, and these other women were in the same shopping aisle, and they're just saying shit like, "Ugh, I can't believe girls these days getting pregnant so young. Ugh, I can't believe that her she must have been like." And they were just insulting her, claiming, first off, why would you insult a teen mother? Like, they're already going through it. Leave them alone. They were just assuming, right, that she was like a teen mom and had a kid, and they were just insulting her, just saying like really like terrible things about like women in general, right? And they were just like these two older ladies. And then my friend just turned around, she's like, "This is my brother, you bitch." And she said it like in Romanian, and they were just like, "Oh no, we weren't talking about you. We weren't talking about you." It's like, there's no one else in the aisle. You were talking about me, but fine. And they were just like so embarrassed. And it's like, yes, you should be humiliated of yourselves, but not for the fact that you got caught, but for the fact that you would say such horrible things about someone anyways. But I think that's my best conversation overheard story. Otherwise, I think people just don't say things around me. Maybe people just don't talk to me. In economics, there's a theory that bad money drives out good. Can this also be said to apply in languages, as in bad language drives out good, in which casualized languages or Pigeons or Creoles, borrowed words always drives out formal language. Sorry, the way that Marshmallow cuts their text is so weird. Always drives out formal language unless there's an active resistance through heavily enforced education systems. I feel like I have a lot of things to say about this question. I'm taking all of these questions in like the this person has like a very like, they came in with good intentions. I think it's just like poorly worded maybe. Chilling with your cat, I love it. Have you guys had any situations where you overheard someone saying something in your language that they thought you couldn't understand? I had a situation really close where someone I know almost was a person who said something rude in another language, and I was like, oh, like don't talk about it. And then later that person ended up speaking that language, and it's like, what did I tell you? Thank God you didn't say anything. And tourists don't know you speak English here. Ooh, what do they assume then? Or what have you heard any like kind of crazy stuff aimed at you? Your first job since it was retail. Oh, have you heard any funny stories? Happens semi-often with you for Spanish. I feel like it's really common with Spanish because a lot of people know Spanish who you wouldn't expect to know Spanish, because a lot of people do it for school as well as, well, like anyone can look anyway speaking any language, but especially with Spanish, it's very, very common. Spicy stories. But they were just saying how pale you were. Oh God. Hey, at least it was nice. Sometimes people say the rudest shit, like, oh God, her skin looks horrible. Like, oh, thanks. You basically lost how to speak formal English at this point. You're speaking perfectly formally right now. You just said oof. And maybe you wouldn't say basically. I've lost how to speak formal English at this point. That's pretty standard. It's pretty regular. You're all kinds of good there. The US is the largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. Yes, because it's pretty damn big. Have you guys seen how big Alaska is? You know how the globe is like badly like when we look at a map, it's like a very poorly represented in terms of size thing? Dude, Alaska is so big. Alaska is so big, and it's just up there. Alaska scares me in the same way that dolphins scare me, where it's far larger than I ever imagined. And I know that Alaska can't get me like a dolphin can get me, but it's still fucking scary. Very scary. It's so big, and people are up there filming TV shows with zero fear. People assume all inhabitants of your country don't speak English. You've overheard a lot of stuff from tourists and foreigners. Oh my god. Even just whoa. Wait, what would you consider the difference between a tourist and a foreigner for you? Are dolphins? Dolphins are so big. Well, some dolphins. Yeah, Alaska has like 30 people in there, and they're all the scariest people. Tourists tend to be more rude and louder. Oh. Or maybe they're not staying there, whereas a foreigner could be like living there and working there. Alaska isn't real. Alaska can't hurt you. There's bears in Alaska. It's like I've said before, Alaska is just man, the like old couple I help take care of, they watch all the Alaska shows, Bering Sea Gold, Life Below Zero, like all of those. Alaskan Wilderness, they watch all of those Alaska shows. It's always the same thing. You know, I gotta get prepped for winter because life out here is so rough. It's really hard living in Alaska, but I'd rather live here than in the city where everything's easy. I gotta hunt for all my own food here. I can't make a single mistake. It could be the difference between life and death up here, but I prefer that than freedom out in the cities. Like, okay, we get it. Like, and I feel like the producers hold a gun to their head and tell them, say how hard it is to live in Alaska. It's really hard. Like, I don't know. Has orcas, which are part of the dolphin family. Alaska is so terrifying. Your little town has more people than Alaska. Oh, Jesus. Is your little town bigger than expected? Tourists are people who are not staying more than a few days or weeks. Foreigners stay longer. But... oh, because a tourist can also not be a foreigner, right? Like, they could just be from your same... they could just be even from, like, the next city over. Like, someone from Rome could visit Milan and still be a tourist, but not necessarily a foreigner. And a foreigner could be, like, living there, so they're not a tourist. They're just a foreigner. They're just a greasy expat. They need heated seats for toilets. They don't stick to it. I hate heated toilet seats because, okay, in any regular situation where the toilet seat is not preheated, you sit down and you are faced with the grim reminder that somebody else put their butt on that thing. So then why would I want like a simulated reminder that someone else put their butt on that like seat? And even if it's in my own house, even if it's a heated toilet seat in my own home, I don't want it to feel like someone just used my toilet. Like, why would I want it to feel like someone just used my toilet? That's the worst. Because the cold hurts. Fair enough. I guess in Alaska they heat it to the point where it's like you can sit on it, but it's not necessarily super hot or warm. Man, yeah, because you don't want your butt stuck on it. But I'm like, I don't want like simulated someone like, oh, you guys ever wanted to know what it feels like to live with a roommate? This toilet seat heats up by itself. Like, cool. Cool. It's so upsetting. No. Right. Okay. Now I've been to I think Japan, because they have like all those fancy toilets and like the nicer places. I fucking hate the toilets in Japan because sometimes you go there and you're like, okay, how do I flush? Please. It was at an izakaya and they had the stuff all along the wall. When it's connected to the toilet, I know how to use it, but they had it up on the wall. Why did the controls for the toilet go taller than I've seen some Japanese people be able to reach? I'm like, what the fuck is this? Do they need a stick? Like when you go to a store and you need to get clothing off the top rack, you gotta get that little metal hook to get your clothes down. I was like, did they need one of those but for like the toilet so they can like flush? Like, it was fucked up. It was a very fucked up situation. A pre-moistener. No, not the humidity. You had to drive a rental car some years ago. Heated seat and steering wheel could be ice cold or burning hot. Yeah, I hate heated seats in cars. I've never had them work properly. It has always been so hot, but sometimes one of my friends had a car with a heated seat and he would turn the heated seat on as a joke. So one time his friend was holding the pizza while they were driving and he turns the heated seat on and his friend is like sweating. He's like, oh, man, this pizza's really hot today. It's like, The heat is coming from behind you. I don't know how you don't recognize that. He was all sweaty, like doing his best to hold the pizza. I'm like, no. You'd almost heard a tomato for a cooled car seat. A cooled car seat would be cool. Maybe just for the initial, and then set up, and then you gotta turn it off. You'd be the pizza holding friend. You would be. Heated seats in a car a couple years ago. You can no longer survive winters without it. I guess if you live somewhere very, very cold, it would make sense. One of the complaints she has on your car choice is the lack of heated seat. Some moms will complain about everything. Some moms are just out here to complain. Oh, right. Let me answer this person who I am taking them as coming at this question with the purest of hearts, right? Because I only have pure-hearted goblins, right? Right. I'm going to, I guess, first I'll define some of the words they had in here, right? So a pigeon. I'll do it like a pigeon. Well, there are some languages that, or not languages, well, like you may heard of like a certain like group of people or like a certain area and it's called like pigeon. So, oh, a pigeon. I think it's spelled like this, right? So here's, this is more, I guess, no, I think it still is a thing, but I think it's far less widespread than it was before, right? So here's, like, group of people A, group of people B, right? Group of people A, group of people B. They want to engage in trade or, you know, commerce of some kind of way, but they don't speak, I'll say language group A, language group B, but they don't speak each other's language. So when they like meet and are talking, they end up kind of making like a little A, B, like an A plus B, like some things kind of similar, like maybe some words, maybe like the way they say some things. So they're just using it to communicate. Hold on, let me take a sip. Actually, pause. Let me grab something. Jesus Christ. I want to... Well, we have the time, so let me grab my book. Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Me flipping through a book. Okay. No, 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 no. Levels of borrowing. Language contact. Can we get... Can I get... Okay, pigeon, right. Okay. Right. Yes. So... Right. So... Pigeons themselves have a very, like, they still have a grammar and they still have a proper way to, like, use it. You can't just go willy-nilly. At, like, the end of the day, a pigeon that's developed from, like, language group A and B is still able to be used, like, with consistency between, like, the groups like A and B who need it, usually for, like, trading or something like that, right? And then what sometimes ends up happening is... So what was usually described for me by my professors is like, okay, so like maybe that's like generation 1, and then groups who end up like using this pigeon, perhaps they, you know, like end up having like families and kids, and then as it goes on, it becomes like a Creole. Where is it? Let me grab it here. It becomes a Creole. Let me find it. It's like I want to speak very carefully on these things. Right. Oh, because it's like I don't want to say something wrong because these are sensitive issues, right? You have Taglish, which is Tagalog and English. It would probably sound weird if you only knew one since the substitutes were from the other language for a sentence. Yes, but there's like a difference between like switching between like parts of a language and just like blending, which is sometimes people who are bilingual, they may blend words if they don't like it's called like blending because you are picking words that you don't. This is separate from Taglish or Spanglish, which do have actual specific, like for Spanglish there's actual very specific ways that it's like used, and it's not just like random, because if you're filling in words that you don't know in one language with words from the second language that you do know, that's just called language blending. I can't give examples for it without just outing my language, so I'm not. But anyways, and then a Creole is typically from people who are, like when a Creole is made, it's typically from people who are speaking that pidgin, and like their kids ended up like making it like a bit more. Like Creoles are used more as like a language in and of themselves, whereas pigeons are usually more used for like the communication between two groups of people, typically for trade, right? So that's what we're going with here. So as you can see, it's not like a casualized thing. Like it has very specific purposes. It's used by people. It's not as though there's some kind of like bad like implication to it. It's just a different purpose, right? It's not slang. It's not slang. It's not slang. It's just two completely different ways to, it's just a form of communication for people. Slang is like me calling somebody a baddie. It would almost be like the opposite, where it's like you don't necessarily want to be using a shit ton of slang, right? Yes, so that's why I'm trying to clear this up, so if the person who asked this question is here, they kind of know. Yes. Where does Singlish fit? I wouldn't say it's a Pidgin or a Creole. I wouldn't say that, but I'm not sure exactly where they would fit in. I could probably look it up, honestly. Or borrowed words drive out formal language unless there's an active resistance. I think I guess you're also coming to this thinking that it's bad for language to change, which that's just a normal thing. Like, languages change constantly. Like, there's like smaller changes and then like bigger ones. Oh, I wish. So there's some stuff I know from a signed language that I learn, and I would show it to you were I not a fucking VTuber, right? But it's like languages change in exactly the way that the population who uses it needs it to change. Not the way that the government wants it to change, or that like stuck up pricks or like really anal like school teachers want it to change. It changes in exactly the way that the groups using it need it to change, because language is like a tool that we use like in our daily lives. I would consider it a tool, or it could be like, or it's like an art form, right? Right? It's like, it changes just how much we need it to. If language changed to the point where, oh, tomorrow we woke up and we could not, it was like a Babel situation, or no. Like tomorrow we woke up and we couldn't understand like each other at all. Well, then it's like, okay, well, obviously that change was kind of like crazy, right? But that it doesn't happen, right? Like you wake up every day and you can understand the like native speaker of your language like next to you, right? That you were able to understand the previous day, right? Yes, and then for especially with things like, oh, as technology has gone on, or some things are more like an iPhone. I'm not gonna make a whole new word for an iPhone when it's like a brand. If someone invents like a VR headset, We don't want to make up whole new like concepts for things like in VR or brand new like stuff coming out, right? And to have to try and like retwist everything into having like a kind of like a native based word, it's just not going to keep up with the way that language changes, especially with like technology, like I mentioned. This is kind of really funny and similar. I think we talked about this a couple days ago of the Portuguese parents who are really pissed off that their kids are speaking Brazilian Portuguese and not European Portuguese, because they watch like a YouTuber a ton and he's like a Brazilian guy. I'm like, I don't know, fucking deal with it. Like, just like, it sucks. Just like, sorry, like. Like, I don't know. It's fun. Like, it does suck ass if your kid can't, like, speak it, but I think they're coming at it more from, like, a pride angle than, like, oh, I can't understand my child angle. Alright. So I would say that there's no such thing as bad language. In terms of Pigeons, Creoles, borrowed words are not bad. Like, it's not bad. Slang is not bad. It's just different, or like they're completely separate things, right? Like slang is not the same as a pigeon is not the same as a Creole. Borrowed words are not the same as like those things. Like there's some overlap with some stuff, but it's not, right? Someone's speaking like an Aussie because they watch someone on YouTube. There's a lot of people that speak British English because they put their there's a lot of kids that are out there speaking British English because their parents just threw them in front of Peppa Pig and they're like, all right, Peppa, raise my child. So for this person and anyone who is wondering, it's just not true. Like, no, there's no such thing as bad language driving out good, because there's no such thing as good language and no such thing as bad language. Yeah, I was out here saying bad language doesn't exist, but it's not as though good language exists either. Like, what would you guys define as quote unquote good language? The only good language I would say is whatever I need to use to get something done, or like whatever I want to use to like sing this really nice song, but I could always just be like la 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 la. Right? Like, I don't even need language for that. I could babble. Babies can sing and they don't even use language for that. Would it have been better if they used a more generalized example and spoke about language as a whole? I mean, I'm even saying it right now as a whole. I don't think there's such a thing as bad language, or if there's even such a thing as good language. Because what would be good language then in your mind? Koppelman or anyone who wants to answer. I don't want to specifically call anyone out, right? Chinese parents with the British English accent as a talent. Yes, it's so funny. Maybe the better question is, does casual language replace formal language? No. Because there's still a way that you know how to speak to your boss or your parents or teacher that's different, despite how much time you guys spend online, right? And online, I feel like people speak very, very casually, right? I mean, I'm speaking fairly casually. My God, it was such a pain to debut and not use like slang. Jesus Christ. When I being new as a VTuber sucks because everyone has these preconceptions about you, and you're just like, yes, cool. Yes, I'm Ojo-sama. Yes. And I'm just like, not me having to put on a fake personality to get clicks. It's all about pragmatics and prescriptive. Yes, it's exactly that. It's like prescriptive versus descriptive. Linguistics. And hello, Jada. Welcome to the stream. How are you? And hello, Eat, Watch, Play. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Oh, yeah. Peppa is... No, man, Peppa is all over Asia, too. Oh, and Coco Melon. Actually, I think Coco Melon... babies are very dangerous. We always say about iPad babies. Something about Coco Melon babies specifically horrifies me. They haunt me. If you guys don't know what Coco Melon is, it's like just this horrible like 3D like baby like singing videos. I hate them. And every child I know loves them. They're like, Coco Melon, Coco Melon. And I'm like, we're not fucking watching Coco Melon. I hate it. It haunts me. Right. But yeah, so Does anybody even know this theory in economics? It kind of sounds, I mean, I have a feeling I know what it sounds like, and I would love to be proven wrong, but I feel like it may go into territory of things we shouldn't talk about on a stream. But I am just getting that exact vibe from this. The cursed AI vids. It kind of reminds me of like remember the Johnny telling lies, no papa, yes papa, like that. It's like very similar to those people. You know, a Cocomelon baby. Oh god, I'm so sorry. The thumbnail's already creepy. It's so scary. Hello, Silver. Welcome to the stream. How are you? I'm doing well. I have more stream time than I thought I did, so I'm happy. Your friend bought you a weird Peppa shirt that says Gucci when he was in Asia. You don't ever want to wear it out. Kind of sounds like you're a baby. Compliment. I think you should wear the Peppa Gucci shirt. Perrin and I both got official Gucci Roblox collab headbands. So our Roblox characters wear Gucci headbands now. You're doing well. Oh, I'm glad you're doing well. Remember when all those verified accounts were being hacked? No, I did not know that was a thing. There's a big issue now with a lot of Japanese artists are getting their Twitter accounts hacked and changed into NFT like selling accounts and like altcoin accounts. And I'm like, ooh, imagine having to do that to get people to think your shit is legit. Ooh. There was a Gucci Roblox collab. Yes, it was with the British Fashion Awards. And we got the butterfly headband. Every linguist is scriptivist until it's time to make a living by correcting texts. Me, when I fucking send my other like linguistics friend, I'm like, can you edit my paper, the grammar? And then she like is like, okay, you needed past perfect here, and I'm like, thank you. I mean, it's funny because I was going to work in editing for, I can't say who, but it's like a research journal, and I'm like, oh my god, me dead ass, like working in the thing that I'm like, I'm not good, not me. And then I'm like, okay, fix your fucking grammar. Well, but I mean, then that falls into the range of, how can I say this? Wait, wasn't there a Balenciaga and a Fortnite collab? Or something like that. A lot of brands are collabing with, I guess, pop culture things. Bad money drives like essentially actual currencies. If you have two currencies in a country, one considered good, the one who's not, the bad one will and one who's not, the bad one will prevail. Oh, I had no idea. Thank you, Mermaid Melody. They do. Okay, so here's this question. Is Duolingo and or spaced repetition a meme? I don't really know what they mean by meme. Maybe they mean like, oh, like when you ask what language you should study on the language learning subreddit and everyone just says Uzbek. So do I think some of these things are overhyped? Yes, perhaps. I would say, well, I think at this point, everybody knows Duolingo is just overhyped, right? Like at this point, it's like, that's just like a known fact. I don't think anyone in this day and age anymore is like, well, all you need is Duolingo to be fluent. They don't even claim that. And if they do, then maybe it's just something that they haven't updated in a while. Right? As not in a oh, maybe meme as in not a serious / effective way to learn. Oh. I think I would say that for some languages, I know people had a lot of complaints. Okay, especially because some languages are in beta and they still release it out, and then there's mistakes in the beta, and it's like, well, don't release it if there's mistakes. Like, don't rush things, right? Right? So it's like, that's like one of my issues. And then it's also all done by volunteers, and I'm like, I don't know how much I can trust said volunteers. What are their credentials? And sometimes it's just one person did the whole course, and I'm like, what are their credentials in terms of like teaching and all of that, right? I think, yeah, Duolingo is like, if you want something like cute and colorful and getting coins or something like that. Adoboy said it's more like habit building. If you could, because yeah, it has the little streaks that you don't want to break your streak. If it helps you to do Duolingo before or after you do some real study so you keep up your streak, then it could be a good way, because habits are, it's more easily to do habits if it's all linked together in a routine. So if keeping up your Duolingo streak helps you to also do a lesson in a book or like write something like that day too, then go for it. VTubers definitely don't actually learn when they do those streams. Yeah, those streams are just like fun streams. I mean, just in the sense of like, I don't know, when you do some gaming streams, you're not there to actually be like sweaty. You're just there to like have fun and entertain an audience, right? And spaced repetition of meme. I think people, I feel like this poor person has been on Reddit so long, because this is like Duolingo and spaced repetition is all people talk about on Reddit. I think spaced repetition, for those of you that don't know, is instead of studying the same thing like every single day, whether you know it or not, you would use a program. Like there's a ton of different flashcard programs that will test, oh, you knew this very easily, we will not test you until a couple days later. Oh, you consistently mess up this one, you know, grammar point or vocabulary word, then we will continually test you on it until it comes to a point where you know it well enough. So instead of reviewing maybe the same 100 vocabulary words every day, you'll do like the 20 that you really suck at, and then like the next day, and then the other like 80, not me having to do math on a fly, in like 3 days or something like that. But in any case, I think spaced repetition works. The issue is that people make that the absolute sole part of their language study. Like the person earlier who asked a question about just doing 6,000 kanji flashcards. And like, what does that really get you? Okay, maybe you can recognize vocabulary or grammar, or you can produce it in that specific context, but then when you're actually having a conversation or you're reading a book or listening to a podcast, can you actually put that into work? And very typically it takes more practice than people would assume. You know, just because you can get something perfectly in your flashcard program doesn't mean you'll be able to do it outside of that specific context. Just constantly doing the same part you keep messing up on, because you eventually don't. I mean, eventually it pushes it to like the next day. But it's pretty good that you don't have to do like a shit ton of work that you don't need to. Use it as a tool, not a crutch. Kind of. Well, some people just use it as their entire toolbox, tool shed, house, everything, instead of just like the screwdriver, right? So are they a meme? No, because I think at this point, well, okay, I think at this point Duolingo is not a meme because people know that it's not the only thing to use. Whereas before, I think people really thought they could get fluent with that little bird. With spaced repetition, I think it's just like I think it's like a Reddit thing. Like Redditors are just really hung up on it. Gosh. I don't think they're memes. I think they're as useful as they claim to be, and people just, I guess, misconstrue them. What would you recommend for someone who knows a very basic understanding of a language but doesn't have anyone to practice with? Would watching media in that language be helpful? If you have a very basic understanding of the language, it would not be helpful to watch media in it because, well, because you're not going to understand it, right? And if you don't understand it, what can you gain from it? Unless the only thing you were doing was listening to it in order to maybe like practice your pronunciation, like repeating after it, something like that. And you were solely doing it for that and not for learning any words, right? But if I barely know, like, the only things I know in Mandarin right now are like saying hello, saying sorry, and saying like the verb to be. And if I was to suddenly try and watch like a TV show, I would not know what the hell is going on. It would be frankly a waste of my time. That I could spend that like 1 hour doing something else. I think if you have a very basic understanding of a language and you don't have someone to practice with, you don't necessarily have to practice everything with another person. So you could do some stuff by yourself. So here's the thing. You could do some things by yourself, like writing out conversations, speaking out loud, like writing a little diary entry, like reading things on your own. But then if you do that, you can find language tutors online, right? There's like apps, there's websites and things like that. And I would say like use those and do those, because if you don't, you could be getting in like bad habits or studying things incorrectly that ends up being a bad habit that you're going to have to fix way later on. That's mostly it. So I would recommend, finding a tutor or teacher that's actually qualified in some kind of way, not just a random person. Because, man, I've seen some people ask for help with their English, and I look at the responses they get, and I'm like, that's wrong, though. Because a lot of native speakers, just because someone's a native speaker doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Like, get someone who actually has some sort of training in it. Wouldn't it obviously include subs at first? I don't know how you'd learn from this either. I mean, but even if you had subtitles, would you, in some languages, like, would you be able to read them at all? Or would you be able to read it fast enough? Or things like that as well. So I think that find someone to practice with. Doesn't have anyone to practice with. Find someone. Do what you can by yourself and then find someone to at least check your work. I mean, even if it's like Latin, even if it's like Latin and you're not speaking it, you just have to find someone to check to make sure you know what you mean with your grammar. And would watching media in that language only if you could understand it to a certain point. Hello, Orla. Do you have any good apps to learn kanji? I only remember Kanji Garden. Kanji Garden. I've mentioned it before. Kanji Garden. I think it's like a 30-day free trial or a 45-day free trial or something like that. And I pay for the year in advance because it's cheaper that way. Hi, Chibu. Welcome to the stream. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm about to wrap this one up for real now because I got the time wrong before. I only remember Yamete. Hello, Papoy. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Right. I like Kanji Garden. I think it does a really good way of building things up without being too fast or too slow. And you don't feel super dragged down if you don't review it for a couple days, because holy hell, I've tried like WaniKani. That shit feels like a chore. And I hate having to memorize all of their stupid little stories. Sometimes, I don't know. Maybe if you have a lot of trouble and you need mnemonics to learn everything, you could try WaniKani, but I think it's more expensive and it's just kind of, it's like just stories are a pain in my butt. You don't have anyone to practice with, just find someone for it. I mean, honestly, there's the internet here. We have the internet. Yeah, I recommend Kanji Garden. I don't remember if you mentioned English I don't remember if you mentioned English was not your first language or not. If it wasn't, how was the English learning experience? Is it rather hard like people say, or did you grasp it quickly? It was very sink or swim. I had to learn it quickly, right? But even in their native language, kids are still like a baby born in their native language. Or like a baby born in like the country where their language is spoken to, and their parents speak it and they go to school that speaks it. They're still going to be making mistakes even in like elementary school. Not even just spelling mistakes, but like grammar mistakes, right? Or even in like middle school and all that. Like you're still taking classes of your native language. in order to like learn grammar and prepositions and things like that. It's not until you get to like secondary school where you're starting to learn how to analyze texts, and then you're learning more things like how to structure an argument or stuff like that. Where at that point it's like, okay, I've learned my language, now I just have to learn other like aspects of it. But as for the actual grammar, I'm fine. What do I remember about learning English? I just remember a lot of times where I'm just sitting, I'm like, I do not understand a single damn thing going on, so I'm just gonna keep sitting. That's just like that's honestly what I mostly remember, is just not understanding anything going on and just kind of sitting. What was my native language? A secret! If it's a secret. It's obviously fairy language, right? Because I'm a fairy. I'm such a cute little fairy. Ah! Right? Or, I mean, I think you guys have experienced that in your second language classes. Maybe there's a day where you didn't study the book or you didn't do your homework and you're sitting there and your teacher's just like, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so in over my head. Maybe it was French and she's just ashamed. Shut up. Shut up, Froggy. Your language is Goblin. Yeah, your native language for all of you guys now is now Goblin. I'm baptizing you to be goblins first and foremost. French is your native tongue. Hello, Adia. Welcome to the stream. I forgot to say hello earlier. The only 0F you got was because of Spanish. Oh my gosh. How sad. Que triste. Right. Does having to structure your thoughts in a different grammar also make you feel like you're thinking differently about something? If I told you that I loved you in your native language, would it have as much impact as if I said it in mine? Or I guess not me. If maybe the person who you really like, because you guys don't have feelings like that for me. You're my goblins. If someone told you that they loved you in your native language versus another one, would it still feel the same for you? Or if you told someone that you loved them in your native language and maybe or their native language, how would it feel for you? Right? I don't know if you guys have admitted your love to anyone before, like sincerely. Right? What was the point of Michelle? I've never seen Michelle. It's just something I've thought about. It's different for different people. For some people, they don't really feel a difference. For some people, they say, it only really feels real when I say it. It only feels real when I say it, like in mine, or I say it in theirs because that's when it feels most real of me saying it to them. Right? You can train people to respond to it. I train someone to respond to it. I mean, that's one way to word it. I feel like in Spanish I could give it dramatic for my taste, but it would vary a lot in actual feelings. A lot easier to say romantic or like spicy things in English rather than your native language. Is it because maybe it's more real and more closer to you? Japanese, I love you might be the best for you. Oh, just suki. You don't know a word of Haitian Creole. Oh, is that your native language? Or I guess it would be your heritage language, yeah. Oh. No. Shut up, Froggy, you can't say. Oh, that's just you like me. Okay, perfect. Yes. You might, I guess some some languages do have different types of love. Like I know, what is it? Greek has 3 different words of love for like familial love, romantic love, and then like, what is it? It's agape. I think that's how you pronounce it. Agape? I'm not sure. Stop! No! No! With French, almost anything sounds romantic to a foreigner, so you're told. Yeah, maybe Americans. Maybe Americans would really follow it. Their own language has one love for love, no like. Yes, but then it falls with context, right? Like, just like how I say, oh my god, I love Callan, I love Ura. Does that the same love I would have for like something else? Or is it to say, oh my god, I love candy, I love coffee. You know through context that that's not the same love. Yeah, but people use like aishiteru if it's like very dramatic or like in media, I feel. Most people that I know are like, that's weird as hell. I wouldn't say that. Right? Pygmy, get out of here, you weeb. Otaku, get him out of here. Drag Pygmy out. You could tell your American friends you love them, but you couldn't tell your friends in your native country you love them using the word love. Maybe that's just us, though. Well, I guess you would. I guess it's another thing of like, what word do you use to express that feeling, right? Like maybe you don't say love, but you just express in a different way of like, oh, like I really appreciate you, or like I'm really thankful you're here. Only French you ever hear is Quebec. What's taba making? Not very romantic. What is that? Right? So there's like different things. Spanish is a good example. Te quiero means I want you instead of te amo, which actually I love you in the literal sense. Yes, it's all different. I like it. Just like with a lot of languages, you can just say like, oh, I like you, or I love you, but you usually don't say love. You usually just say like, and through context they can tell that. Oh yeah, I guess same with swear words. Right. So having structured thoughts in different grammar also make you feel like you're thinking differently about something. Or are you more polite in one language than you are in another? My god, in some languages I feel like I have to be so much more polite. Maybe just through, I don't know, maybe just through pressure. Gosh. I can be so much ruder in English than any of the other things I study because I just feel less pressure. In the other languages, I'm just like, hi, oh my gosh. It's like so nice to meet you. Too sweet. Is there any way to remember higher numbers like 19 specifically in French? Some of you guys here are French. How do you remember your numbers? Oh, you just grew up with it your whole life. I don't know. Little Marshmallow, I'm so sorry. I've never studied French. I have no idea. So sorry to say. What are your favorite made-up language, and what are your thoughts on learning High Elf versus Ceann? Oh, that's from Lord of the Rings, right? Or Tolkien, whatever. I do not have a favorite made-up language. I guess if I had to choose one, it would be Dothraki, because that's the only one I looked at the time, but I think I'm not much of a Game of Thrones fan as much as I used to be, or was at all. I don't have a particular preference, and I have no thoughts on learning one versus the other. Pick whichever one is more fun, I guess. It's very 80 is 420s. That's probably a mnemonic. Learn Esperanto. God. There's probably a mnemonic. You could answer, but it'd take a while. Yes. I'm so sorry, little French learner. My advice to you is stop learning French. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're excited when you saw Klingon on my language poll. I do not know Klingon. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to put some stuff down. I've never learned Klingon. The only thing I know about Star Trek is the Puffles. That's all I know about Puffles. Do you know any tips for making your accent more natural when speaking a second or third language? I guess oh shit, I have to go for real. Number one tip. First, number one, come to terms with the fact that you will almost never sound fully native or natural, and that's okay, right? No, I'm saying if you're learning it, you can stop. If you already know it, well then you already know it, right? And my other tips are, I usually like to look at the Wikipedia page for phonology of whatever language I'm learning. And I get to see all the consonants and all of the vowels. And then I like to see just how they're used. Usually, I think, honestly, that Wikipedia page is pretty good at giving examples of it. And I think you can, if they have it in English, it's good if you're a native English speaker, because then you can read it because it compares it to English. And I think if they have the page for that in like your native language, it's good too. I look at that when but I'm also just kind of very anal. I'm like, oh, is this an aspirated or unaspirated, like, P? And then I can check, and I'm like, oh, they have like this in their language. So look at the, this is mine. This is what works for me. I would learn what the differences are. Don't just take approximations. Like, learn what the actual differences are and like what are the important ones. Don't focus on only the spelling to try and give you a hint for pronunciation, regardless of how much some languages like to say that, oh, we pronounce it how it's spelled. Very rarely is that true, because there's still little differences in things. Kind of like how dogs and cats, we still pronounce the Z or an S. Do you understand IPA without referencing? I used to be really good at IPA. It's been a while since I had to use it at all. No, it is International Phonetic Alphabet. It just also fucking is the one for the type of booze, right? English next are inconsistent and stupid. No, I'm coming for the collab. I'm ending soon. I'm sorry. Everyone, I have to go. I have to go. Okay. Okay, I actually have to go. I have to go. Okay, yeah, for real. Okay, and then you guys have to watch the collab in actually half an hour on Callan's channel. That is twitch.tv. Wait, no. twitch.tv.com/YasukiCallan. Or just check on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'll see whatever season 2. Goodbye 2. Right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for stopping by and letting me talk. Thank you. Oh my god. Thank you, Queen, CEO of doing more for my channel than I do. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much. All right. Peace and love. See you soon. On Twitter, I put up a goblin. Decorate the goblin, and I'm going to hang you guys inside of my castle in a very cute way, not in a horrific way. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Oh my god.